Lately, I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. Baby, I've been praying hard. Said no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. We'll be counting stars. I see this life like a swinging vine, swing by.
E-Heroes, one of the top EU teams. You're gonna have to see them to believe them. By Bamos, of course, one of the best RBG leaders in the world.
The European meta is something you won't believe. It defies all logic, but they make it work.
Over here now! Yes! Go back! Yeah, baby! Go, go, go! Pull them all!
Heyabn is a force to be reckoned with. His team is something you just don't see every day.
These guys are gonna have to fight if they want a spot in the championship.
You have good, you have great, and then you have consistently great. And that's what this team is about.
This is just something you're not gonna believe.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Gamers League Battle of the Atlantic Worlds Reveal Show. My name is Desecration, and today I'm joined by a man who needs no introduction. It's Reinhardt the Russian.
Yo guys, this is Reinhardt, and today we're going to be revealing and breaking down 8 teams competing in the Gamers League Battle of the Atlantic first RBG World Championship.
Along with this, we're joined by our expert analysis desk, consisting of BlizzCon competitor Sad Story, YouTuber and RBGer Indy, and RBG leader and personality Gigasnail. These guys will be here to break down the teams and give their input on all the players. Guys, how do you feel?
Hey, I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to explain my analysis.
Pretty awesome. Excited about the tournament.
Alright guys, well before we get into revealing 8 teams, let's explain how we got to this point. Gamers League invited multiple RBG teams from around the world to participate in the tournament. Teams were seeded based upon when they confirmed to be coming, and what region they were from. As space was limited, teams were chosen on a first-come, first-served basis. In the end, teams were split into 2 regions, North America and Europe World.
For each region, we have selected 4 top teams. We look at the letters, we look at their qualifications, we ask multiple top RBG players which are the top strongest teams out there, and we pick the top 4 teams we could possibly find. Now the teams are ranging from seed 1 to 4. So the way we actually organize it is the team seed 1 will be playing against seed 4, and then seed 2 will be playing against seed 3. Team who advance in the quarterfinals then move on to the semifinals. And in semifinals on Saturday, it's gonna be a huge matchup where we have 2 top US teams competing for the best US team in the region, and 2 top EU teams gonna be competing against each other as well. Now the qualifying match is gonna be best out of 5, and the final is gonna be best out of 7. Also, as a bonus round, we will include one of the maps that have never been seen in competitive play. For example, Alterac Valley, Isle of Conquest, Strain of the Ancients, after the Cataclysm in the first season. So basically what we're gonna do is we really want to see how the teams can play coordinated maps, and the really big maps such as Alterac Valley. So if you ever wanted to see what's the Alterac Valley will look like 20 versus 20 organized team, well, you got it. Now these maps, they won't count towards overall score, but overall I think it's gonna be really fun for us to actually shoutcast it and see what's going on. Now that all the technicalities are out of the way, let's get into revealing the teams starting from the US region.
Let's do it, and the first of the 4 US teams in the US bracket is Team USA Proxy PKB SX6ABN. They are undisputably one of the best teams in their region. Revered for his play as one of the highest rated arcane mages in the world, ABN's team has consistently outperformed their opponents for the past several seasons. ABN's team has taken home multiple 10-man tournament championship titles, including the Level 19 Twink Tournament, RBG Finals 2014, and Sunday Night Fight Finale.
Joining ABN as a co-leader is a rogue who has been well established throughout the Mists of Pandaria and now going to Worlds of Draenor and its Unseens. And if you ever seen Unseen's ninja capping skill, you will be pleasantly surprised. Now both leaders have combined their forces and organized a lineup which you're not gonna want to miss.
On their core roster, we have ABN, Unseens, Slip, Aspert, Smexon, Phil, Vo, Adam, Rookery, and Blake. For subs, they've selected Jamili, Oz, Exaru, Stay Strong, Ryan, Peekaboo, Elite, Bully, and Left Eyebrow. Now that is a power lineup if I've ever seen one. Indy, I'm going to start with you. What do you guys think about this team?
Well, Team ABN has always been one of my favorites. I'm really excited to see ABN because ABN's known for his unconventional strategies. ABN has always been the one who runs, you know, maybe some unconventional comps, some weird strategies, and I'm really looking forward to how it plays out, especially in some of their really strong maps like Temple of Kalmogu and other stuff like that. Giga, what's your view on that?
Oh man, I freaking love Team ABN, dude. They're some of my favorites. Him plus PK, Vo, Rookery is on there, Blake is on there. It's an all-star A team, literally. The roster couldn't be any better. What concerns me about Team ABN is some of the recent history plus some of the past history. They're a really old team. We've got 3 seasons with them now where they're basically uncontested, more or less. In the NA, there are some contestations, but I think they're actually doing really good in a solid team fight recently, and I'm really excited to see how they're going to perform in terms of map to map, comp to comp, and strat to strat. Are they going to be out-stratted? Are they going to be out-mapped? Things like that are really piquing my interest right now. The only other thing I'm concerned about is how other teams' brackets and their composition might change things. And to that, I need to talk more to our EU analyst, Sad. And if he can't give me info for that, I don't know what I'm going to do if AB doesn't win. I'm just going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. That's it.
I'm very excited to see an arcane mage play. You usually see frost mage, the common spec. It's a bit easier to play. People don't like change, and then you see ABN playing an arcane mage. You don't see it special. I want to see it. Then what I'm also concerned about is like there's a lot of arena players in their team, like Elite, Saryu, Jamili, Peekaboo. They're all exceptional players, but can they make it in RPG? The players that I'm gonna watch out for are definitely ABN, Unseen, and Asper. That's my.
Not only that too, but I noticed they have Oz on their sub, which is an odd choice because I know Oz typically is actually a main core member of ABN's team. So I'd like to see more Oz. I'd like to see more Stay Strong. And if I can't see that, I don't really know. What do you think? Are they gonna make plays, or how's this gonna happen for Team
I'm really looking forward to seeing them play on the flag maps, to be honest. The flag maps have always been my favorite, no matter what. Temple of Kalmogu is really interesting because I know ABN's, that's pretty much his strong suit, but the flag maps have just always been the most interesting to me. So I'm looking forward to seeing some, you know, back and forth quick caps, you know, stuff along those lines.
All right, guys. With that, we're going to head on to the next North American team. So, the next team in the North American region is C2. Similar name, but an entirely different backstory. It's Hey Q God at ABN. The name, which originated as a joke between friends, grew into a massively popular guild on the US Tichondria server. This team is led by pro gaming competitor Daticus.
A constant threat to all the RBG top leaders on US, HeyQ Cup IBM has performed consistently well in their scrimmage matches against the big guys. These guys are truly no joke at all, and we look forward to seeing them perform in the tournament. On the HeyQ Cup ABN roster, we have Daticus, Bubsy, Articuno, Brawley, Clydosaurus, Tyler, Nesper, Slug Lord X, The Godfather, Bamos, and for the subs they have Maldiva, Pinkums, big fan of Pinkums, Wild Magikarp, Zark, Imbajan, SVP Snuggle, Cutinel FDK, Bully, Derivative, and Big Moran. Alright, Giga Snell, what do you think about this team?
I think the greatest thing about Lord Daticus is the strat over comp and skill over comp is where you're going to see out of Lord Daticus. You're going to see a lot of a counter stratting too, which is really important, and which is actually going to win a lot of these tournament series. Not necessarily the overall tournament, but the actual best of series. The way you're going to win the best of 3 or the best of 5 is by out stratting your opponent. You can out-comp an opponent for a game. You can map an opponent for a game. To out-strat an opponent game after game just shows that you're the better RBG leader. And if you want to win this tournament, that's what you're going to have to do. One of the few RBG leaders who can actually do this is Lord Daticus. There's a lot of great NA teams, a lot of great EU teams who can do this, but can you do it and do it competitively and do it consistently? If you can't do that, you're not going to make it to the final bracket. I don't know. What do you think, India? As an NA team, does Daticus have a chance?
I think Daticus has a really strong chance. Daticus's team is also very confident. They all come in with they have this awesome air of confidence amongst them. I've spoken to Daticus and they say, you know, I'm not scared of Bamos. They're a little scared of some other comps, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how this plays out with, you know, the little rivalries that they got going on and all the competition and maybe some trash talk, maybe. Who knows?
I'm really
Where's
excited
my-
about. Oh,
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
really excited.
Sad, where's my EU expected? Come on, tell me, Sad.
Okay,
What's going on
okay.
from EU?
I'm really excited because they have an EU player on their team, Imbajan. He's a respected EU RBG player, one of the top RBG players on EU, in fact. And so basically what I understand is that he's telling the secrets from the EU teams to Dadakas' team. So basically, if Dadakas can beat Balamas' team and then can beat the next team, they have a very good chance of beating EU, and I'm excited about that because like they know everything about the other teams. They are prepared, and that's really exciting. Also, I'm excited about Maldiva and Nesper. Both two very PvE PvE
Oh, I love
players,
Maldiva.
you know, like,
He's great.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Maldiva's the best.
All right, guys. Awesome. So we're gonna get on the next team here. Next up in Seed 3, better prepare yourselves. This is a team who may well be the most outspoken in the tournament. Let his rhythm take you over. It is Team Bailamos. Originally assembled from a regular trade chat group, Team Bailamos grew from one of the strongest RPG teams in the world. Grew into, I mean to say. In 2012, Team Bailamos competed in its first esports tournament, the Arena Junkies World Series of RBGs, where after an astounding 12 games, his team took victory over Team Collective. Now, since his team's debut at the World Series of RBGs, Bailamos has gone on to collect multiple titles such as Gladiator, Hero of the Alliance, and of course, quote-unquote, Rank 1 RBG leader. Although his team, ABN, his rival team ABN, lies on the other side of the tournament, Team Bailamos will need to fight their way through Hey QGAB, ABN, and more in order to prove themselves once and for all as the quote-unquote best RBG team in the world.
Okay, so for his roster, we have the following. Obviously, Bailamos comes in there, but we also have Derivative. We have a couple big names as well, and looks like actually a few teams kind of fighting for their roster as well, because I see here Maldiva and Pinkums as well that Bailamos want to take. But on top of it, they have actually some of the big names that they're actually bringing, like Losira, Lockdots, Luke, Mageden, Pridemis, Rist, Vexius, Rydamus, Whiskey, and Zeph. So what do you think of that layout, Indy?
Well, Team Bailamos, I mean, that's like one of the most biggest names in RBGs. I mean, Bailamos, he has been playing RBGs since they first came out. He has had a relatively set roster. You know, he has an awesome amount of substitutes, and I'm really excited to see him play because, you know, he is, like you said, a self-proclaimed Rank 1 RBG world leader. And I'm really excited to see him back that up with actual actions, you know? What about you, Sad? You interested in that?
I want to see the double lock. I want to see actually a comp play double lock. They have Dota, they have the 80s fan, which are two exceptional locks. I want to see them like PvE the other team down. Then they also have Whiskey, which they can bring. I'm not sure how a Shadow Priest will fit into that like order, but I really want to see a Shadow Priest in the tournament because that would be the only Shadow Priest playing in the tournament. Also like Temple of Kodmagu, I heard that's their strong suit, and I really want to see that game because I saw on stream Bailamos play it, and it was very exciting. He knew what he wanted to do, as people said. Like he's a bit of a tyrant. He's a bit of a leader. Like he wants to control his team. He wants to. If he says do this, they have to listen. But is he gonna freak out if they don't listen to him? That's my question. What about you?
Oh, you think emotions are going to play a part to it? Yeah, it's possible. I wouldn't say Bailamos actually breaks down on his emotions. I think it's really important that we focus on what Bailamos does best. And Bailamos has an amazing late game. So what you guys are going to see is you're going to see maybe an early series loss, possibly. I don't even think it's going to be regular, but it's possible that Bailamos could see an early series loss. And then what you're going to see is a lot of FC maps after that. Bailamos is going to fall back on what he knows, and that's a late game. He has the strongest late game on the NA bracket, and I think he might possibly have the strongest late game in the entire world right now in terms of RBGs. On top of that, he does have a relatively stacked sort of comp and roster, which is really great on him. Like you said, he is the Rank 1 World RBG leader, self-proclaimed, and how can he maintain that? He stacks his comp. He makes sure that he has the best players always playing with him, always playing, like you said, to how he wants them to play. If they don't play the way he wants them to play, he will definitely let them know, and I would love to listen in to that conversation and hear what he has to say if they don't.
He definitely has that leader mentality. He is a natural leader. He can yell at you and he can curse you out, But the fact of the matter is, he's doing it for the victory, and he's proven it in the past, and here's hoping he can prove it again.
I have one
Yeah,
question.
absolutely.
Natural
What's your question?
leader or natural tyrant? That's the question, right?
Oh, is there really much of a difference? If
Pretty
you're
sure
building
those
a
are
nation,
shots right there, dude.
if you're building a nation, yeah, shots fired from you over here with Sad Story already. Pretty early on, I really like that.
Well, we will have to see. So, guys, let's get into the final team here. So, for the final team in the North American bracket, we've got a new face on the block here. It's the Average Joes. Led by Heltor, this team was assembled by friends, teammates, and warriors. These guys have managed to challenge some of the big guys on the NA bracket in their scrimmage matches and on the PTR, and they may well prove to be a low-lying threat to these big teams throughout the games.
Absolutely. These guys have been working on their strats, players, and style for the past few weeks, and it'll be interesting to see what they actually can pull off in the tournament.
Yep, and on their core roster, they have Heltor, Vampy, Hebro, Dachi, Rekt, Yeez, Lavak, Return, Cleric, and Relapse. And finally, for subs, they brought Homicide X, Adam, Physics, Ampeg, Bully X, Horrigan, Sirius, and Soza. Alright guys, so now that we've seen the 4 US seeds, this now means that Team USA, Proxy, PKB, SX6, ABN, wow that's a long name, will face off against the Average Joes. And TakeYouGod ABN will face off against Team by Bamos in the quarterfinals. So Gigas, now I'm going to pass it off to you here. Give us your thoughts on this team that we just mentioned here, the Average Joes, and on the whole US bracket as a whole. And I want to hear what your guys' predictions are for this tournament.
Well, I'd like to back up for a moment, first of all, and talk about Team Heltor or Team Vampy. First of all, amazing team, a lot of skilled players there. I'd like to give a big shout out to Heltor, a big shout out to Vampy, especially Rekt, and yes, if you want to say his name correctly, just for the record, as well as Relapse. You guys do a lot of great work. I'm glad to see you guys in this final RBG tournament. How is the overall NA going to work? I'll tell you right now, this is what's going to happen. It's going to be ABN versus Heltor. Heltor is going to have the first game in the best of 3 series, best situation. And then ABN is going to sweep the rest. So it's going to go 1 to Heltor and then 2 to the ABN. And he's going to clear that. And then he's going to move on to the next bracket. After that, it's going to be Data versus Bamos. And this is really the game where you guys, you really want to focus on this game because Data versus Bamos is just one of the best RBG series you guys could possibly watch. The only better series would be Bamos or E-Heroes versus ABN, which I think you'll probably see in the finals. So Data versus Bamos is going to be a best of 3 series, and it's going to come down to either a flag cap, a node ninja, or a late. Like, that's the only way either team is going to get the best of 3 series unless one of them wipes the other. That's just my opinion. Indy, thoughts? Anything?
I honestly do think that it will come down to some stupid micro little event in any VG. I feel like that, you know, it'll be a really close fight throughout most of the rounds, and then I feel like ABN could just come in and just sweep it at the last second, you know?
Are you calling for the Bamos sweep or the Abney sweep? I got confused there.
Sorry about that. You know,
it's all good. It's all good. What about you,
Seth?
Seth? Sorry, from an EU perspective, what's happening on the NA bracket right now? Who are you voting for?
I want to go back to the Average Joes for one more second because I heard they queue a special comp like double rogue, double moonken. They really want those quick caps. They want to help one of their rogues quick cap, and then the other one goes for the EFC, if I'm not mistaken. They're also the underdog,
especially, yeah.
Which interests me. Like, I like teams that are the underdog. It gives me an exciting feeling, especially if they can take a game or if they can take a series. Who wouldn't go wild for that, huh?
So you're rooting for the Heltors? Oh, nice. I like it. All right, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
I hope they beat Team ABN.
I don't know. Alan looks really
like
sick lately. Maybe Heltor will, you know, he's under the weather. Something will happen there. I don't think it's gonna happen. But...
then my prediction about the QGOB ABN versus Team Bamos. I think Team Bamos is gonna win. Like, I think Bamos is gonna pressure his team and like he's gonna have this entire vision planned out. He's gonna say like, I want to do this and we're gonna do this, and I think they're gonna beat Delica's 3-0. Really quick.
Ooh, 3-0 for the Bamos freestyle. I like it.
I think they're gonna end up on top of the US bracket, 100% sure. Actually.
Nice.
All right, great guys. So now that we've seen the 4 US teams, we want to hear from you who you think will win. Tweet in with the hashtag Battle of the Atlantic with the team that you think the US side will win in the tournament. However, it would not be a Battle of the Atlantic if we didn't include Europe and the rest of the world, so for Europeans, let's get right into it. Representing Seed 1 of the European bracket is a team which rightfully needs no introduction. It's E-Heroes. E-Heroes are a small group of dedicated arena and RBG players who have consistently played at the top of their game for every season that they have been active. Currently, E-Heroes managed to gain an impressive 100 rating lead over the second highest team in Europe, and they're not stopping there.
Throughout the Mr. Pandaria, the E-Heroes RBG team gained recognition and dominance over not only European letters, but American letters too, rising to the rank 1 positions on both European and North American letters. Although their lineup has significantly changed from the beginning that they start, but they're thinking that the new team members that they're bringing, which are BlizzCon champions, such as Laser Chicken and Valkyries, will allow them to secure victory over the tournament. Their current roster also allows them to play every class at the competitive level, however they want to choose. On their core roster, E-Heroes has brought Swaki, Valkyries, Thoraso, Winkey, Lurtex, Laser Chicken, Jello Baba, Mikas, Panzerhank, Lemon, and for their subs they have Baby, Lembrod, Niels, Sagi, and
Alex. Okay, well, looks like we have a quick connection issue there, but sad story. We're gonna hand it over to you guys. What do you guys think about these teams?
Wow.
E-Heroes has been merged from 2 different teams.
What do you think, sad story?
What I also think is cool is they prefer synergy over meta, skill over comp. They have a great healing composition as well, like consisting of the same 3 healers like Winkey, Panzer, and Daniel, which is like Disc Priest, Mystery Ramon, Hoipala, and it's just a great healing setup. What I also want to see is double lock and then Laser Chicken to back it up, like really rot the other team. What do you think, Andy?
Well, the double lock and Laser Chicken, they're both just going to make so much constant pressure throughout the entire fight. So I feel like if any team goes to them, team versus team, in the center of a BG, they're going to have a really rough time unless the other team's healers are like really solid and they have really good synergy with each other. But I'm really happy that they kind of like to stick to themselves. You know, they like to have one comp with all the players that they enjoy playing with, rather than fitting a meta. You know, kind of synergy over meta. So that I've always liked teams that play like that, because it's more based on skill rather than just conforming to whatever's OP at the time. I mean, am I right, Giga?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Definitely skill over comp, especially for E-Heroes. E-Heroes has a really great advantage in the fact that they can truly claim skill over comp. No matter what class they play, no matter what spec they play, E-Heroes has always, at least historically, proven that they can play the class more or less better than any other player. At least on EU. What we're seeing with Battle of the Atlantic is not only do you have to play your class, but you also have to play the map, you also have to play the comp. So that could give them an issue. I really like that they're going to play skill over comp, which is really great. The players I'm looking at least for E-Heroes, is Winkey. I have a special on for that eyebrow mofo right there. Winkey is my homie. Big shout out to twitch.tv/Winkey, as well as Laser Chicken and Big Eyes for Laser Chicken. I'd like to see them bring Bobby actually off of the sub playlist. I'd like to see Bobby play a game. Don't know if that's gonna happen, but I'd like to see it. And it just overall, Swaki, amazing ability to bring that group together. I know they kind of sort of collapsed that E-Heroes group over the last couple of seasons, and they actually gave Abney and Bamos and Daticus and a lot of the other NA teams a run for their money last time they came over. I'd like to see that again, and this time when they come over, and when we have the Battle of the Atlantic, when we go head-to-head, I'd like to see them actually push. I'd like to see games. I'd like to see full games too, not just win by rot or win by cap or win by point. I'd actually like to see like a full domination if I'm going to see this team win. I definitely call them for the end of the series for sure. What about you, AJ?
All right, well, perfect. We're actually going to head back over here, and we're going to talk about the next team on the EU bracket. So, up next, it's a Russian team with an attitude. These guys basically travel from halfway around the world to play in the Battle of the Atlantic. It is Eye of the Snoopy K. They are undisputedly the best team in Russia. Stacked with a team of Russia's finest, Eye of the Snoopy K brings multiple teams, multiple heroes of the Alliance, and 2,300 players. And Snoopy K himself has achieved the ranks of Gladiator, Arena Master, Hero of the Alliance, and along with their titles, this powerhouse is ready to bring their A game. For the core team, they have Snoopy K, Devastella, Unbella, Erico LOLs, Saint Line, Rocky, Solder, Pictures, Verzilla, Strawberry. And now, due to a limited talent pool on Russian servers, they were unable to give us their full sub list in time for the show. However, once they have it, you can find it live at gamersleague.com. All right, Gigs, now talk to me here. What do you guys think about this Russian team?
Man, what is there to say about Russian teams? First and foremost, I play EU and NA, and I got to tell you right now, every single EU team, as soon as you queue into a Russian, you're concerned. That's the very first thing you have is concern about how is the game going to end up, how is the game going to be played. You don't see these strats, you don't hear it in any language you normally speak, or at least understand as a second or third language, and then now you have to play against it and have no concept. It's really great to see a Russian team in the tournament and to see how they're going to play. I'm excited to see these games just play out in and of themselves, because I think Snoopy is going to give us something we're not normally expected to see. And then on top of that, I think he's also going to bring a comp we don't normally run with. You're going to see the demo locks. Like, that's not a surprise. What you're going to see out of Snoopy is something you've never seen before. Like Abney on Arcane, not a surprise. Demo locks, not going to be a surprise. Snoopy's, he's going to bring a surprise. He's going to bring like a Brewmaster or something. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Maybe Indy, possibly Sad Story, could come up with something out of this Russian team that I don't even know where.
Well, I mean, you got to think about something. They're Russians. Now, they're used to playing on Russian servers with Russian latencies. Now, if they're going to be playing on US PTRs, I mean, ping, there might be some issues. I mean, you get players like Mez, Lord Mez. He played from, where was it, New Zealand or Australia? I think it was New Zealand. And he got rank 1 multiple times, really good in RBGs, and he played with some decently high ping, especially for a melee. So we have to see where ping is going to play into all this.
So, Indy, you think ping is actually going to make a difference in terms of this Russian team over the EU teams? Over the EU.
I don't think ping is going to be as big of an issue as maybe I'm making it out to be. But I could totally see ping being an issue. You can miss kicks, you can miss CCs.
For the Russians.
Exactly.
Cool.
I think they're gonna have a good advantage on flag maps. Snoopy K, he has been bugging a lot. He has been playing with a lot of different teams. But when he is queuing his main team, he's a lot more confident. He's one of the best Guardian Druids and Feral Druids that I've seen in RBGs so far. Also, what I want to watch out for is Arquelos and Saint Line. Those two play 3v3 together, 2v2 together, 5v5 together. They play everything together. They have amazing synergy, and they might blow up the other AFC, like, boom, What do you think?
Does Saint Line have a stream? Like, does he have shirts? Can I buy a Saint Line shirt? Like, if I could MVP that whole team, I'm looking at Saint Line right now, and I'm just thinking, like, man, I want to buy a shirt. I want to rep that at the gym. Flex that. Big shout out to Saint Line, man. I think he'd do work on the Russian team.
Yeah, I'd like to see him play.
All right, awesome. So let's move on here. So joining them is a late entry Australian team. Now, these guys, you know who it is. It is Team Naz. These guys have been kicking butt and have formulated together just in time for this tournament. Recently assembled, they believe that their team can take on the world, and they want to prove it.
While they are late entry, they'll definitely will pose a threat to Russian counterparts and all teams throughout the world. For their core team, we have following players selected: Rock Lobster, Janitor, Merowitz, Estrana, Kergak, Frime, GSP, Klitschko, hell yeah, Nuts, and Pelican. For subs, they selected Oso Klami, Fasta, Love Kelly, Kilsa, Baby, Cadrix, Crucicals, True Liver, Foster, and Noodle Dance. Alright, Gigasnail, talk to me. What do you think about these guys?
I think this is a really good team, especially Lobster, Mauschwitz, Astrana, to some extent Kurgok and JSP too. I know they're definitely arena players and they can put up numbers. That being said, I think this is a half and half team. I think half this team has talent. I think the other half does not. Astrana and Mauschwitz, you go against them on the ladder and you're donezo, man. It's out. You're like Kristen Cavallari's Mitsubishi. You're absolutely gone. Lobster brings a great boomy Druid orange into the team, and Janny to some extent on the green side. But I think it's going to come down to Mauschwitz and Ostrana. I think ultimately their team fight isn't there. I don't think they have the talent overall. I'd love to see them at least push past the first series. Don't know if that's entirely possible with them. Maybe Indy has some introspection that I don't, but I'm not sold.
The number one thing here is, I believe this is the team that is playing with a Hunter, and that's Hunters haven't really had too much of a place in RBGs lately, besides, or pretty much throughout the history of RBGs, besides sitting bases. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to play through this with Hunters. I believe they're actually the only team that has a Hunter playing with them. So, I mean, whether he'll play survival and put out a lot of dot damage, or play BM, and or maybe he'll just sit a base. I mean, I'm really interested to see how Hunter is going to work for this team, and if it's going to end up being their downfall, or if, hey, maybe it'll be their saving grace.
I'm not so sure about their Hunter. If you really want to talk, you got to look at Kurgok. If you really want to talk about their utility comes down to Kurgok. Kurgok as a UA lock. If he's not going to play UA, he has to play one of the two specs, Destro or Demo. Is he going to be able to play all three specs? Is he going to be able to demo around? Or is he going to be able to just put out the numbers that Luke or, another top DPS could put out in other teams? If he can, absolutely this team has a chance. If he can't, I don't think so, man. It comes down to Kurgok and utility, honestly.
I think it's all about the Hunter. Like, is he gonna help them push? I don't see a Hunter being better than a Mage. Like, I would prefer a Mage defending. I feel like Block is so much better. You also have Trinket. Like, as a Hunter, you have Trinket and Deterrence, but Deterrence doesn't break any CC. So, like, I think it's easier to Ninja Cap a Hunter. He has a bit more steady damage as Survival, and a bit more, and a lot of damage as BM with a lot of Purges, but I don't think it's great. I think they're not gonna make it.
I think they'll make it. They'll at least put up in the series. I don't know if they'll finish the series. I'd like to see them finish the series, especially with Malshowitz and Estrana doing work. I think Kurgok can perform. I know Lopsa can perform. Not entirely sold on the rest of the team. Maybe if GSP comes through, puts up numbers with Lopsa, maybe they can find some sort of synergy there. Possibly. Again, their team fight is already weak. What are they going to do? If their comp is weak, what are they going to do for strats? Like, who is their leader? How is he actually going to lead? And then on top of that, what are they going to do for their metagame? Like, map to map, what are they going to do with this comp? I don't think they're going to do enough to actually make numbers. If they do, I'll eat my words. I'll put my foot in my mouth right now.
We may have to see they might be bringing some weird strategies to the table too. I mean, it's very possible they could we may not even see a team fight with this team. It's very possible. I mean, there's been RBGs where people don't have team fights. They get away with sap caps, running past, speed caps, stuff like that.
Yeah, with the
they could arena around.
Short trap. Could be interesting.
Short trap? Yeah, you think a short trap's gonna make a game? All right, he's calling it right now.
Oh well, it's 6.1. So is the trap nerfed or not?
I'm not sure.
So
6-1, anybody's game.
I believe for the Survival Hunter, it is nerfed on the duration by at least 25%.
Okay.
So,
well, either way, hey, pretty interesting stuff. All right, guys, so let's move on. So for the final team in the European World Bracket, we have another late entry team, but they're just as prepared. It's Team Blacklisted. Led by Legendarin, this team is ready to take on anybody that would challenge them, including E-Heroes. Legendarin himself is a 4-time Hero of the Alliance, Arena Master, and Grand Marshal.
On his team, he also brings power lineup with multiple heroes such as Heroes, Glad, Arena Masters. Being one of the top EU brackets, this team has consistently performed and managed to outplay some of the best teams on EU. Personally, I'm actually one of the bigger fan of this team is because this team doesn't play much. They usually come in the middle of the season, or they start somewhere, but then they slowly rack up and actually give a huge run for their money to the top teams themselves. And actually, I've seen some of them stream, and I've seen them actually consistently beating some of the top teams as well. This is the Swedish Mafia that we're talking about. It's actually Team Blacklisted. So for the roster, we have Legendary, Gap, Lamel, Biffy, Joey, Infernion, Brinjar, Wildy, Nelly, Lysiag, and for the subs, they brought Kata, Serenfic, Axiraz, Jaxix, and Swipala.
All right, well, now that we've seen the 4 European teams, E-Heroes will face off against Team Blacklisted, and I, the Snoopy K, will face off against Team Naz. Sad story, I'm going to hand this one over to you. What do you guys think about this team, and EU as a whole, and the whole tournament as a whole? Give me your predictions. Who do you guys think is going to win?
I'm very excited about this team because it has been around for so long. It originated early Kata. It stayed together in Mob. It stayed together in WOD. They quit sometimes, but every time they come back, they make sure they're there again. Like Reinhardt said, they make sure they're back on top. They have this really great healing setup, a Resto Druid, a Holy Pella, and a Disc Priest. like Gabi, Vilde, Legendary, all great RBG players, all players not to mess with. Also, they are not gonna play with any subs, so they're gonna stick with their team. That's what they said to us. They don't want any subs. They just want to stick and be loyal to their team. They prefer synergy over meta, skill over comp. What did you think, Indy?
Well, yeah, like you said, we went into their team speak. We spoke to them, and they were telling us about how they've been playing for a long time, since RPGs came out, Cataclysm, Mop, and now Warlords. And they did, however, say that they've been taking breaks every now and then, so they're a little concerned about their A game right now. They may not be on their A game. And on top of that all, I'm really interested to see how they're going to fare in this tournament. I'm really hoping that they can at least take a couple of games, because I really do like their team. However, as for thinking that they're going to win, I don't exactly think that they're going to make it too far. Giga, what do you feel about that?
I don't know, man. Dude, again, it's kind of me versus sad story, but I'm looking at this like the EU underdogs, man. I'm rooting for Legendary, dude. This is my team right now in terms of EU. First of all, like you said, they have a great history together, so they already have the synergy, they already have the commitment. Yeah, they put IRL over WoW, whatever. Who doesn't? By the way, you kids all should. And and then on top of that, they play their healing comp like they should play their healing comp. They don't play it to win. They don't double down on Mistweaver, and they don't argue it when they don't need to. They do it Disc, Holy Paladin, like you said. It's really important for cooldowns to do that. And if they can all play their cooldowns properly, every single game, every single series, it's honestly almost unbeatable. The only way they could be beaten is if they get counter-shotted or counter-comped. And I don't think that could happen unless they get a bad seed or something. It could be possible, but
They have to
I'm not
beat
feeling it for this
E-Heroes,
team.
though. You realize they
Yeah,
have to
but
beat the
but
team
you're talking about a team that's committed to the sustain game, and then another team that's also committed to the sustain game. Like, they're both committed to the long opening game and the long opening series. If they're both committed to it, there's nothing either team has an advantage on in terms of commitment, unless it's skill. If it comes down to skill, best team wins. Otherwise, I'm voting for Legendaries, man. I'd love to see E-Heroes in the finals, but I'm voting for Legendary. I'm going for it.
I think E-Heroes has more confidence to beat Legendary's team. Like, I think they have more confidence. They're feeling better. They're feeling like they played for the entire season. They played the entire team up. They don't quit. They keep playing everyday RPGs.
That's true. They do. E-Heroes does have a lot more practice under their belt, whereas Blacklisted, they even told us flat out that they have been taking breaks without playing. And I mean, your skill can decay, and so no matter what comp you're playing, what strategy you do, if you're not practicing and you're not getting games in, and you're not practicing for tournament, you're not getting ready, it's gonna show.
I don't know, man. It sounds like your APM is decaying, and it sounds like you put it on Legendaries team. That's just my opinion, man. Just my opinion.
All right. So guys, for I actually want to get your input here. Who do you guys think is going to win the tournament? Sad story. Let's go to you.
Overall?
Yeah. Overall, who do you guys think is going to win the tournament?
E-Heroes, by far. They're gonna beat everybody. They're gonna destroy everybody. That's my opinion. That's what I'm gonna stick with. Like, AVN has no chance. Dadakas, no
Wow,
chance.
shots fired.
Whoa,
Okay. Andy, how about you? What do you think?
Honestly, I would love to see some of these underdogs win, but I really, really do think that Bamos is going to take a lot of it. I mean, this is RBG's. This is his zone. This is his. I really think that he's going to give it his all. He's gonna practice with his team. He's gonna get ready, and he's gonna stomp.
Awesome. And Gigasell, what about you? Who do you think is going to win?
I'm thinking ABN over Heltor. I'm thinking, unfortunately, Datakiss over Bamos. That could be an upset if Bamos long games Data. That could give us a different finals. And then I'm thinking E-Heroes versus ABN or Data for the final game.
Wow, okay, so we got a very mixed panel in there. Very interesting to see. All right, guys, so now that we've revealed the teams, I'm sure that you guys want to see them. So, for day one of the tournament, the U.S. quarterfinals is going to take place on Friday, February 13th, in this month, February, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Day 2 of the tournament, Day 2 of the tournament, the European World Quarterfinals will take place on Saturday, February the 14th, at 7 p.m. Central Eastern Standard Time, or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the US.
That was actually Central European time. But lastly, the semifinals and finals will take place on Sunday, February 15th at the same time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central European time. Also, join us for the World's Preview Show coming up on each of the listed dates right before we get into the games, live here on twitch.tv/GamersLeagueLive. And if you haven't followed us yet, make sure to do that right now.
And if you'd like to get more information on the teams and where you can watch it, head on over to gamers-league.com, and we will also be updating a stream panels where you can actually enjoy the watch. And also check out our website. We have guides made by multi-rank 1 gladiators out there, free for the public to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's all for us today, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Gamers League Battle of the Atlantic Worlds Review Show. Make sure to follow the stream and tune in for the Battle of the Atlantic Day 1 on February 13th through the 15th. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
We didn't ask them any questions.
There's no way you think that team's gonna win, Seth. You're crazy.